welcome back to my Flash episode review of my thoughts on tonight's episode of Flash titled Rogue Air, and this episode, good time to be a geek. Alright, as you can tell, this episode made me super stoked for a good number of reasons, and I'm about to cry right now, tears of joy. It's just, tonight's episode was just, there's a lot going on, and, sorry, I'm in this room, okay. I need a breather. To actually get into tonight's episode, again, a lot going on, and a lot to talk about, so, let's get right into it. Starting out, this episode, actually, it started out kind of slow, and to me, I was just like, okay, like, Wells, I don't know, just like, things were moving at a weird pace for me in the beginning, and I know I'm sitting here talking about how much I'm geeking out right now, but I'll get into that a little later. But overall, it's just like the beginning was just, I don't know, again, it's just a really slow pace for me. And watching just, Eddie being released, essentially being released, like, all unexpectedly, and then Wells. I mean, obviously, this is all gonna kind of come full circle in the finale. But still, there are certain things, I don't know, just things happen, I don't know, again, just a weird pace in the beginning. But from that point on, once the metahumans start getting released and they're trying to come up with a plan of how to get them out safely, and then them trying to get them all on Oliver Queen's Island, and then just having to team up with Captain Cold. And I love that part where, Peekaboo gets released, and then, she's trying to get out, and she's like threatening Caitlin, and then Iris comes in and she's like whacks her behind the head. I thought that was kind of funny. That, and probably one of my biggest geek moment was the Green Lantern reference. And for those of you who don't know, the Ferris Airline, that is the company that Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern, works for in the comics. And they mentioned that by saying, they're shut down. Oh, well, a test pilot of theirs disappeared. And Hal Jordan was a test pilot. So, much like, the Wayne tech reference from the pilot, or even in the article with the Flash missing, that mixed with the Hal Jordan reference, like, do these big DC characters exist in this universe? And that's always been my big question, is like, obviously the movie universe is going to be very different from the TV universe. So, like, they've already said that they are not in the same universe, unlike Marvel, where most of their stuff is connected. But it still leaves big questions, like, well, what does that mean for these characters moving forward? Because, they had Harley Quinn, just a slight, cameo in Arrow Season 2. And then they have the Batman Easter egg this season. Now, there's the reference of Hal Jordan, and it's just like, are these just Easter eggs? I mean, are they just, like, giving us nods to the characters because, the hardcore fans are going to notice and be happy with it? Or are they just actually implying that these Justice League characters do exist? So that's just something that I've been, really contemplating, because for a really long time, like, Warner Brothers has not they haven't wanted, their people mixing up their characters with their movie universe and their TV universe. That's why they've won everything separate. That's why Tom Welling wasn't Superman in Man of Steel. That's why you never saw Batman in Smallville, all that crap. And so this all kind of started when they first announced The Flash, because The Flash is such a big DC character that I thought that was something that would save for the movies. I mean, they are doing a Flash movie with Ezra Miller as the Flash, but to me, I was just like, wait a minute. So what does that mean moving forward? Are they going to use the Barry Allen version of the character in the movie? Are they going to use Wally West? I don't know. So these are the questions that I've had. I'm going away into the whole Hal Jordan thing, but these are just me addressing a lot of the questions that I've had pretty much all season, and even since like last season on Arrow. Just all these little Easter eggs. Does that mean there's a larger universe that they can address or will address, or are these just Easter eggs for us fans? So I don't know. But the Green Lantern reference was awesome nonetheless. And then, of course, the big part of the episode was, Captain Cold. So it was a big surprise. Him betraying Barry and letting all the metahumans loose. But I like how he says, well, now they all owe me a favor. So I thought that was kind of cool. and the fact that he kind of had that moment with Weather Wizard, because to me, Liam McIntyre as Weather Wizard, I feel like he's not underutilized because they've only used him a few times, but that he's such a I like him a lot. I like his character a lot. So I really hope that this means that they're gonna bring him into the Rogues Gallery, which so far consists of Heatwave, Golden Glider, Captain Cold, and I don't know. We'll see what happens with those characters. And I don't know, like, what does that mean for those characters moving forward? Does that mean that they have to come back and like have to rehash the storylines that they used earlier this season with all those characters? I don't know. But I mean, it was cool seeing all those characters again. And I kind of forgot about that villain, Prism, or the guy with the glowing eyes. I forgot about him because he was such a forgettable meta-human. Because he was in the Flash and Arrow crossover, the first one anyway. And seeing that, I was just like, nah. I totally forgot about his character. Because when they said 5 metahumans, I was trying to think like who else they captured that hasn't already died. Because in total they've captured like 7, but the Everyman, the Hannibal Bates dude, he was killed, and then Girder was killed too. So, but yeah, but overall, I mean, like that whole part, the whole Rogues, I really really enjoy Captain Cold, and just the idea of the Rogues and the supervillain team coming together, and they're planting little seeds of that. So that's gonna be really cool to see moving forward. So that, of course, was one reason why I geeked out. And then, of course, the big reason that I geeked out, like the showdown between Reverse Flash and Arrow and Firestorm and Flash, and just all those characters, which, well, to me, okay, it was a great thing to geek out about, but I'm going to address something that I am questioning. So, in Arrow right now, Oliver is with the League of Assassins because, in order to save his sister from dying, he gave his life to the League of Assassins, to Ra's al Ghul, just to save his sister, using the Lazarus to bring her back to life. So now he's with the League of Assassins, and he's about to become Ra's al Ghul, and yet he somehow has the time to get away from the League of Assassins and to go to Central City, totally unnoticed by Ra's, especially with what's going on Arrow right at the moment. I don't understand how that works timeline wise. I mean, it's cool nonetheless. I mean, like, of course, I may be super geek happy, but it's just a continuity problem to me. I mean, unless it's addressed, then it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So I don't know how he was able to get away from Nanda Parbat, which I guess is some like Middle Eastern country or some other part of the world, to Central City without Ra's noticing. That I don't like how like they stick around for the fight and then there's like, oh, gotta go now. Good luck with Reverse Flash. Like, come on, like just because he's down doesn't mean he's entirely out. I mean, like, okay, okay, you're talking about a guy who orchestrated everything the Flash left for the last like 15 years. You're just gonna let him stay there? You're just gonna leave and be like, oh, good luck, Barry. Like, what is that? Like, really? I don't know. That's just again. I love the fight. Don't get me wrong. I love that fight. And seeing Firestorm and seeing all those guys there, kind of like their current trinity of heroes, without Black Canary and all that stuff. But I don't know. Those are my issues with it. But overall, again, huge geek out moment. It's finally seeing Firestorm back because he's been gone for a while. Having Oliver come back, which is still great, and the action was great. And his fight with Reverse Flash, and him using the nanos from given to him from Ray Palmer. And then I feel like Firestorm was a little underutilized because he was kind of there flying around, just blasted him the one time, and that was about it. But I feel like I'm criticizing that fight more than praising it. Again, don't get me wrong, that fight was awesome, and again, I had a geek orgasm, like all that stuff. Okay, that sounded gross, but you guys get my point. Like I was geeking out. So tonight was just an amazing episode. Like again, it started out at a weird pace for me, but overall I really enjoyed it. Especially just this is something else I wanted to address before I close things out here. I've really come around on Eddie as a character, and tonight seeing him, having to deal with Iris and him distancing himself from Iris now that he knows that eventually Iris is going to marry Barry. To me, that's just because I've finally come around on him as a character. And it's not because him and Iris are in the relationship. That has nothing to do with it. it's just that he's finally, because pretty much everyone knows who Barry is, and they're all in the know now. Just seeing that I don't know. I feel like the writers have more to do with him, and the actors giving him, I think, a bit of a better performance. I don't know, because at first I didn't like him. Like, I didn't know what they're gonna do with it. I still don't know what they're gonna do with the character long term, but I like the character at this point. So for me, having that scene with him breaking up with Iris, it's not like heartbreaking, but like I felt like it was a little too soon. Like he wasn't even willing to give the relationship a chance. Like he doesn't believe that. Excuse me. Like he doesn't believe that he can change the future at all. But that's the whole thing with Wells going back in time. He changed the future anyway. He just made things happen quicker. So I don't know, man. It was just kind of sad to see that scene. I mean, I wasn't heartbroken because I'm ultimately rooting for Iris and Barry to get together. But as now a fan of Eddie's, it was sad seeing that scene. But even then, like, it is nice knowing that, like, well, now Iris knows she's gonna end up with Barry. But I guess it does leave a little wiggle room for her to be not necessarily accept that she has to be with Barry, but hopefully she come to terms with it on her own. And I'll just be like, oh, well, the future says you have to do this, so So there's that, and again, there's a lot of great character moments in the episode, especially always the scenes between Joe and Barry are always great, so heartfelt, and just the actors have such great chemistry together. Jesse, I'm gonna think the actor who plays Joe, and just Grant Gustin, they have such a great chemistry, and almost pretty much every scene they have together is great, and even the interaction between Golden Glider and Cisco tonight, and Cisco he kills it again. He's like, other than Barry, probably one of my favorite characters in the show. So yeah, tonight was amazing. This finale it came too soon. It's too soon, but I'll be back in here next week for that. So until next time, guys, have a good one.